There's something they didn't tell you about walking away from the people who took you for granted. They didn't warn you that your absence wouldn't just leave a gap. It would leave a void so profound, so devastating, that everything they built without you would begin to crumble like ancient ruins. They thought they could replace you. They thought your presence was optional, something they could dismiss, discard, or take whenever it suited them. But what they're finding out now, in the cold silence of your absence, is that you weren't just any other person in their life. You were the foundation. You were the frequency that kept their world from collapsing. Now that you're gone, they're discovering something that they never expected, a curse they brought upon themselves. While you are rebuilding in peace and clarity, they are living a reality that feels like cosmic punishment. Their relationships are imploding. Their success feels unfulfilling. Their new connections feel shallow and meaningless. The laughter isn't as funny. The victories aren't as sweet. Everything feels off, and they can't quite explain why. You know why. Chosen ones don't just take up space. They hold space. They carry a frequency that grounds, lifts, and shields. And when that frequency goes, when you take back your energy and divert it toward your own path, the people who pushed you away are left standing in the wreckage of their own choices, finally realizing what they lost. Today, we're going deep into why your absence isn't just felt, it's experienced as a curse from those who wronged you. We are discussing in what particular ways they are suffering now, how they are finally realizing what they have destroyed, and why they'll never find anyone like you again. This isn't about revenge. This is about the natural law of energy, consequence, and the irreplaceable value of a chosen soul. If you're ready to understand the power you carry and why your absence is shaking their world to its core, stay with me. This message will validate all that you've been feeling. And before we dive into it, if this resonates with you on a soul level, type 999 in the comments to activate your alignment, letting the universe know you are ready to step fully into your power. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because we create content specifically for you, the ones who've been underestimated, undervalued, and are now rising into their true worth. Now let's get into it. Your absence isn't like other people's absence. When someone ordinary leaves a situation, life continues relatively unchanged. People adjust, move on, fill the space with distractions or new faces. But when a chosen one removes themselves, something fundamental shifts in the atmosphere. It's not dramatic at first. It's subtle. Like the way the temperature drops right before a storm. People don't immediately recognize what's happening because they're still riding the high of their own egos, still convinced they made the right choice by dismissing you, still telling themselves they're better off without your complications. But beneath the surface, a silent unraveling has already begun. You carried a frequency that most people can't even perceive consciously, yet their souls felt it every day. Your presence brought order to chaos, clarity to confusion, genuine love to manipulation, and accountability to avoidance. You were the calm in their storm, the truth in their lies, the mirror reflecting what they refused to face, and now that mirror is gone. Now they are left facing their own reflection, unfiltered and undimmed, and what they see terrifies them. Because, without your presence to soften it, they're shown exactly who they are. The curse of your absence starts the moment they realize the peace they took for granted was your energy, working overtime to maintain balance. The success they felt belonged to them alone, was amplified by your support, your prayers, your belief in them, when they didn't believe in themselves. The confidence they walked with branched from knowing they had someone loyal watching their back. You were the invisible hand that caught them each time they fell. You were the silent force that cleared paths they didn't even know were blocked. And now that force is gone, redirected, focused on your own journey. And they're falling. What really makes your absence devastating is that you didn't leave with noise. You didn't leave with threats or ultimatums or desperate attempts to be seen. You left with dignity. You left in silence. You simply withdrew your energy and redirected it inward, toward your own healing and growth. And that silence, that quiet exit, is what haunts them most. Because there's nothing to fight against, nothing to argue with, no door left open for negotiation. You're just gone. And the finality of it, the absolute nature of your departure, is when the curse really begins to take hold. But right now, they're feeling your absence in ways that are becoming impossible to ignore. It started small. Things just weren't flowing as smoothly. Projects that used to succeed with such ease were suddenly beset by obstacles out of nowhere. Relationships that seemed solid suddenly showed hairline cracks they never saw coming. Opportunities that once seemed abundant were now scarce and hard to come by. At first, they blamed it on something outside themselves, bad luck, wrong timing, other people's failures. But deep down, in the quiet moments when they're alone with their thoughts, they know something fundamental has changed. They are feeling this emotional turbulence that is completely foreign to them. Anxiety nibbles at moments that once brought them joy. Depression settles in, like fog, when everything on the surface appears to be just fine. They feel disconnected from themselves and from others, like they're watching their own life from behind glass. The new people they've surrounded themselves with don't understand them the way you did. The conversations feel surface level and empty. The laughter feels forced. The connections feel transactional. They find themselves comparing everyone to you all the time, and no one measures up. Because you can't replace someone who operated from the soul with people who operate from the ego. The curse manifests in their relationships with dramatic clarity. The person they chose over you, or the people they prioritized above you, is now showing them their true colors. The masks are falling off. The red flags they ignored because you weren't there to point them out are now impossible to miss. They're being betrayed by the same people they betrayed you for. They're being abandoned by those they abandoned you to keep. They're being disrespected by those they disrespected you to please. And the irony isn't lost on them. They're living through exactly what they put you through, without the grace and patience you showed them. Karma isn't just a concept, it's a force, and it's working overtime. Physically, they might even be experiencing manifestations of this energetic void, sleepless nights where your face appears in their dreams, unexplainable exhaustion that no amount of rest can cure, a heaviness in their chest when they think about what they did to you, random moments throughout their day where your memory hits them like a wave, bringing regret so intense it takes their breath away. Their body is responding to the spiritual absence of your frequency. Chosen ones don't just impact people mentally or emotionally. Your presence operates on all levels, including the physical and energetic, and your absence is felt in every dimension. The realization moment hits in waves, each more devastating than the last. The first wave hits when they're feeling great and just want to share some good news with someone, and then they realize that the only person they really need to tell is you. Another wave crashes in when they go through some sort of struggle and involuntarily reach for their phone to call you, only to remember they burned that bridge. The third wave drowns them when they triumph and find there's no meaning to this achievement if you weren't there to witness it. And with each wave comes one cruel truth. You weren't replaceable. You weren't optional. You were essential. They're realizing now that what they mistook for dependence was actually interdependence. What they called neediness was actually deep connection. What they labeled as too much was actually exactly what they needed. They convinced themselves that your standards were too high, your expectations were unrealistic, your love was suffocating. But now they're seeing that your standards protected them from toxic people. Your expectations pushed them to become their best selves. Your love was the only real thing in a world full of pretenders. They traded gold for glitter, and now they're holding handfuls of dust, wondering how they could have been so blind. This realization phase is brutal, because it comes with the understanding that they can't undo what they've done. They can't unsay the words. They can't take back the betrayal. They can't rewind time and make different choices. Some of them might try to reach out, to apologize, to explain, to beg for another chance. But even if they do, even if they humble themselves enough to admit they were wrong, they're discovering something that crushes them. You've moved on. Not in the way they moved on, which was really just distraction and avoidance. You've moved on in the truest sense. You've healed. You've grown. You've elevated. And the person they're trying to reach no longer exists because you've transformed into someone even more powerful. It is the realization that you are genuinely better off without them, that in their absence you're thriving while they are falling apart, that the curse reaches its peak intensity. Because it means there's no going back. Because it means they didn't just lose you temporarily, they lost you permanently. And from afar, they watch you become everything you were always meant to be. Everything they tried to convince you that you weren't. You're successful. You're at peace. You're surrounded by people who actually value you. You glow in a way you never did when you dimmed yourself to make them comfortable. That glow, that undeniable proof of your flourishing, is the mirror showing them exactly what they threw away. Let's be specific about what they lost when they lost you, because understanding this is crucial in understanding why your absence functions as a curse. They didn't just lose a person. They lost a guardian of their peace. You were the one who prayed for them even when they hurt you. You were the one who saw their potential when they couldn't see it themselves. You were the one who believed in them through their darkest moments. You held space for their healing, their growth, their transformation. You forgave them over and over. You gave them chance after chance. You loved them unconditionally, which is the rarest gift anyone can receive in this world. They lost someone who actually saw them, not just the version they put out into the world, but the real them beneath all the armor and the pretense. You saw their wounds and didn't run. You saw their flaws and loved them anyway. You saw their darkness and helped them find their light. That level of seeing, that depth of acceptance, is something most people spend their entire lives searching for. And they had it. And they destroyed it. Now they're surrounded by people who only love the image they project, who would abandon them the moment things get tough, who don't really know them at all. And the loneliness they feel, even in crowded rooms, is a direct result of losing the one person who actually knew them. They lost a protector. Whether they knew it or not, your energy was a shield around them. You were interceding on their behalf in ways they couldn't see. You were deflecting negative energy that would have destroyed them. You were clearing paths and removing obstacles through your intention and your prayers. You were fighting battles in the spiritual realm that they didn't even know were happening. That protection is gone now. And suddenly everything that you were blocking is hitting them full force. The attacks feel relentless. The challenges feel insurmountable. The enemies feel overwhelming. For the first time, they are experiencing life without your protection, because the spiritual covering they took for granted has been lifted. They lost their peace, their joy, their sense of groundedness. You were the stability in their chaos, the calm in their storm, the voice of reason when they were spiraling. You brought balance to their extremes. You softened their hard edges. You brought light to their darkness. Without you, they're experiencing the full weight of their own internal turmoil without anyone to help them navigate it. The anxiety they feel isn't just about circumstances. It's the absence of the peaceful frequency you carried. The depression isn't just chemical, it's spiritual. It's their soul mourning the loss of a connection that can never be recreated with anyone else. Here's what they're learning the hard way. Chosen ones are irreplaceable. You can't find another you on a dating app. You can't manufacture that connection in a bar or at a party. You can't replicate the frequency you carry by just finding someone who looks similar or has similar interests. What made you special wasn't your appearance or your accomplishments or your personality traits. What made you irreplaceable was your essence, your soul's signature, the particular frequency you operate on that can't be duplicated or recreated. They're trying, though. Desperately, they're trying to fill the void you left with anyone who will give them attention. Jumping from connection to connection, relationship to relationship, friendship to friendship, searching for something that feels even remotely close to what they had with you. But every person they meet just highlights what they lost. Every connection just emphasizes the depth of what you offered. Interaction reminds them that surface-level engagement will never satisfy someone who once experienced soul-level connection. They had caviar, and now they're trying to convince themselves that fast food tastes the same. It doesn't. And they know it. The people they're surrounding themselves with now may be attractive, may be successful, may be fun, may even be good people, but they do not carry what you have. They don't carry the frequency of a chosen one. They don't have the depth, the intuition, the spiritual awareness, the real love that flows from a connected soul. They are human, but not operating from the same level of consciousness that you operate from. And that difference, that gap in frequency, is something that can be felt, even if it cannot be explained. It's why they feel empty, even when they're not alone. It's why they feel disconnected, even when they're in relationships. It's why nothing satisfies them anymore. What really hurts them is that they know you have been replaced by people who actually value you. You have moved on to connections that honor you, relationships that reciprocate your energy, friendships that match your frequency. You are surrounded by people who see you, celebrate you, protect you, choose you over and over. And they are watching it happen, seeing you thrive with others in ways you never could with them, and it's destroying them, because it proves that you weren't the problem. They were. You weren't too much. They were too little. You weren't difficult to love. They were incapable of loving properly. And that truth is unbearable. Let's call this what it really is. A self-inflicted curse. You didn't lay a curse upon them. You didn't wish anything bad upon them. You didn't even speak badly about them to others. You simply removed yourself from a situation that no longer served your highest good. You chose yourself. You chose your peace. You chose your healing. But that choice, that withdrawal of your energy, set into motion a natural law of consequence operating with precise accuracy. What they are experiencing now is not due to you, it is the universe responding to their choices with exact reciprocity. The curse is a haunting knowledge of what they destroyed. It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It's this quiet, relentless knowing that follows them everywhere. In their moments of success, the emptiness is there, for you are not there to share it. In their moments of failure, loneliness is there, for you are not there to support them. In their moments of joy, hollowness is there, because you will not be there to celebrate with them. And in those moments of pain, isolation will be there because you will not be there to comfort them. You are everywhere and nowhere at once, the ghost that haunts not through presence, but absence. This curse operates on each and every level of their being. Spiritually, there are blockages they can't explain. Opportunities that should materialize fall through at the last minute. Connections that should flourish wither off fast. Doors that should open stay shut. It's as if the universe is saying, you had access to something special, and you squandered it. Now you'll understand its value by experiencing life without it. Emotionally, they're on the roller coaster of regret, longing, anger at themselves, and grief that comes in waves. One moment they are okay, the next to overcome with the weight of what they lost. Their mind can't have peace. Your memory intrudes upon their thoughts at every turn. They replay conversations, reimagine choices, and wonder endlessly about what could have been different. The most devastating thing about this curse is that they can't escape it through distraction. They can travel to new places, but your absence travels with them. They can start new relationships, but they compare everyone to you. They can achieve new successes, but they ring hollow without you to witness them. They can try to forget, but your memory was branded into their soul. because you weren't just a chapter in their life story. You were a turning point, a before and after, a marker that divides their life into two distinct periods, when they had you and when they lost you, and they'll carry that division for the rest of their lives. While they're drowning in regret, you're rising into your power. While they're stuck in the past, replaying their mistakes, you're building a future that doesn't include them. While they're suffocating in the consequences of their choices, you're breathing freely for the first time in years. This is the part they didn't anticipate. They thought you would fall apart without them. They thought you needed them more than they needed you, and they thought your love meant you were weak. But they're finding that your love was your strength, and now that strength is wholly focused on yourself. Your absence in their life is not just neutral space, it's an active transformation. Each day you spend away from their toxicity, their manipulation, and their taking you for granted means one more day spent reclaiming your power. Every moment you invest in your own healing is a moment you're becoming more of who you always were supposed to be. Every connection you make with people who actually value you proves that. All this time you deserved better. You're not just surviving without them, you're thriving. That's what makes your absence truly unbearable for them. You're learning that peace isn't something you find in others, it's something you create within yourself. You're discovering your worth was never determined by whether they saw it. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, undeniable. You're realizing you don't need validation from the people who couldn't recognize treasure even when it was right in front of them. You understand that sometimes the greatest gift life gives you is when it removes the people who were blocking your blessings, and they were blocking your blessings. They were dimming your light. They were limiting your potential. And now, without them, you're expanding in ways you never imagined possible. The beautiful irony is that you're becoming everything they said you couldn't be. They told you that you were too much, and now you are more. They told you that you needed them, and now you're complete on your own. They told you that no one else would love you like they did, and now you're surrounded by people who love you better. Every limitation they tried to put on you has been shattered. Every lie they told you about yourself has been exposed. Every doubt they placed in your mind has been replaced with certainty. You aren't the same person who walked away. You're evolved. You're elevated. You're unstoppable. Here's what they're struggling to accept. This isn't temporary. This isn't some phase you're going through. This isn't anger that will go away with time. This is a permanent shift in your energy, your boundaries, your standards. You didn't just take a break from them. You graduated from them. You outgrew them. You evolved past them. And there's no going back to who you were, which means there's no going back to them. The door isn't just closed. It's been removed. The bridge isn't just burned. It's been disintegrated. The chapter isn't just finished. The entire book has been donated to someone who might learn from your story. Some of them might try to come back. Some of them might apologize, promise change, swear they understand now. But you're no longer the person who accepts breadcrumbs. You're no longer the person who gives endless chances. You're no longer the person who sacrifices your peace to make others comfortable. You have seen who they really are once the mask came off. You have experienced their real capacity for loyalty when it is tested. You have witnessed their actual values when choices had to be made. And you cannot unsee that. You can't unknow what you know. You can't go back to trusting someone who showed you explicitly that they can't be trusted. This is the finality that makes your absence function as some kind of permanent curse in their lives. It's not that you're holding a grudge. It's that you're holding yourself to a higher standard. It's not that you're being unforgiving. It's that you're being discerning. It's not that you don't care about them. It's that you care about yourself more. And that prioritization of your well-being, that fierce protection of your own peace, that unwavering commitment to your own growth is what seals their fate. They lost you, not because you're cruel, but because they were careless with something precious. And now they have to live with that reality. The universe has a way of teaching lessons through experience. They needed to lose you to realize your value. They needed to be without you to notice you exist. They needed to experience the curse so that they could recognize the blessing. But by the time they learn the lesson, it's too late. The test is over. The opportunity has passed. The chosen one has chosen differently. And all that's left for them is the haunting awareness of what they had and what they lost. A knowledge that shall keep them company through every future relationship, every new connection, and every single moment in their life when they will wonder if anyone else would ever make them feel the way you did. To all of you out there watching this, if you're the chosen one who walked away and now watches from a distance as they crumble under the weight of their own choices, understand this: their regret is not your responsibility, their suffering not your fault, their inability to move on not your problem to solve. You did what you were supposed to do. You honored yourself. You protected your energy. You chose your peace, and now you're reaping the rewards of that choice while they're living the consequences of theirs. That's not cruelty. That's justice. That's balance. That's natural order of the universe correcting itself. But to them, your absence is a curse, while to you it's a blessing. For every day that they're stuck thinking about what could have been, what they'd do differently if they could go back in time, you're celebrating who you're becoming without them. And for every moment that they waste hankering over the past, you're investing into going forward. And for every ounce of energy that they're spending trying to fill your void, you put into your purpose and your growth and your evolution. You're not just surviving their loss, you're thriving because of it. You're not just okay without them, you're better. And that, perhaps, is the final truth that makes your absence unforgivable in their eyes. You never needed them. You never did. You were always complete, and they were too blind to see it. To those who took a chosen one for granted, who dismissed them, who betrayed them, who thought they could do better, you can't, you couldn't, you won't. What you had with them was once in a lifetime, and you treated it like it was disposable. Now you know better. Now you understand. Now you see clearly what you couldn't see before. But that clarity comes too late. The chosen one has moved on, and they're not looking back. Your regret is noted. Your apology is acknowledged. Your pain is understood. But it changes nothing. Because some doors, once closed by someone who finally learned their worth, stay closed forever. If this message resonated deep within your soul, if you are the chosen one who once walked away and is now flourishing while they are suffering, please type 999 in the comments to claim your power with the universe and let them know that you have fully stepped into your worth. Subscribe to this channel for more truth that speaks directly to your journey. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, someone who has been doubting their decision to walk away from people who did not value them. You made the right choice. Your absence is their curse and your liberation. Walk forward with your head high, knowing you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Until next time, remember, you're not the villain in their story for choosing yourself. You're the hero in your own story for finally realizing you deserve better. Thank you for watching.